All right, I am live. So I'll wait till a few people join and then we'll kick this off. Just bear with me for a sec. I want to make sure everything's playing fine. All right, it looks like we are good. All right, so I just thought I'd do a quick follow-up video for everybody regarding the video that I just put live as part of the podcast. Most people they did their own research and they had a look and they found out that I'm actually right. But a few people were trying to argue the point that Australia basically decides they want to put a whole lot of these luxury taxes on electric guitars, which isn't the case. I've imported Gretsch guitars before and I pay 10%. I've imported Fenders from the US. I pay 10% at airports. There isn't a luxury tax on guitars here, at least not going by dutycalculator.com. So if you go to dutycalculator.com and then go to Australia and click guitars, you'll definitely be able to see that I'm right. It's 10%. There's also a $50 Australian import fee as well on those items. But what I thought I'd do is share the website with you guys live, because this way you know it's legit. I don't actively go out trying to mislead anybody. So that's not the case. And I thought I'd share this with you. So at the top here, you can see it's a Fender Music Australia. So Fender Australia and Fender US, essentially the same company, but the Australian one was owned. They were like the official importers. So they charged, I guess, whatever they liked as it was its own entity in Australia. I heard that Fender Australia is no more. This is what I've heard from stores. I'm pretty connected here, so I've heard that that actually doesn't exist, but for some reason it still does. So I'm going by what I can see. When I type in fender.com, it takes me to fender.com.au, and this is what it shows me. So let me just bring up a chat window here so I can see if I'm missing anything. All right, I'll do that in a sec. So just bear with me, folks. So you can see guitars, view all, Stratocaster, whatever. So I'm going to click on Strat just because. And I use left-handed guitars in that example because I'm left-handed, but it makes no difference in Australia if you're buying a left or right-handed guitar. And I should also point out these prices, while they're the retail price, you'd be an idiot to go pay that. So if you pay $4,000 or whatever for, see, here we go. Here's the American Elite Strat, $3,999. And then if you go to the right-handed counterpart, it's exactly the same price. So there you go. As I was saying, this is like the retail cost. This is what they suggest listing the guitars at. I probably didn't make mention on the podcast. You do get a discount when you should get a discount on that particular price when you shop. The street price is lower. But generally, if this retail price now is so high, it doesn't make any sense. And that's what sucks. It's not really the fact that you're going to pay $4,000 for this particular guitar, but that's what they have on there. Some people, I don't know, they might pay that, and the shops aren't going to really stop them. So this is where the problem is. Even with the discount, you're still going to pay through the roof, or in comparison to what it would be otherwise. So, you know, let's just have a look at this. Look at this guitar. All right, let's not go into any of the lefties. So, oh man, it's cold in here. I'm shivering. All right, so American Elite Stratocaster. Let's have a look at this. This is not a left-handed one. See, I'm not misleading you guys. This is the Australian part of the site. When we type in fender.com, it takes us here, and this is what I see. These prices are insane. And that's why I said on the podcast, they're absolutely crazy. And if you've just joined the stream, I looked up the import tax on guitars, 10% over $1,000. And that's what it's always been. I don't see any 49% tax like certain people were saying. I even went to the import duties and tax. Oh, I can't view this now. They got limited views. Awesome. But basically, this particular site, dutycalculator.com, go there and type in Australia or click on Australia, go down to guitars, and it will tell you exactly how much it costs to import. Now, if I go back to the video, if I go back to this, let me just have a look at something. Now, if we go down to, there was a guy who unsubscribed, which I don't really care because he's wrong. He says, he might have removed his comments. But anyway, basically, there was a guy who said we pay 49% import tax on electric guitars, which is totally untrue. Maybe at one point in history it was at 49%, but in the last few years when I've taken guitars home from the States to here, or I've imported stuff from Jerry's, it was 10%, and that's on the order of over $1,000. I've bought pedals from all over the world, which is exactly the same method. I import stuff. If it's over $1,000, I pay tax, and it's 10% on the goods. So saying, how's this? Drum and Australia in the Blues, brought to you today by the letters G and L. There you go. That's pretty funny. But yeah, so it's not just Australia that are suffering with these prices. So it isn't just us, but the fact that the retail price on a Mexican Stratocaster is up to, what was it, $1,500 or something, $1,400 is crazy. That means the discounted price still doesn't reference the actual fair price of the difference in the currency. And that's where I have the problem as well. These are crazy prices. So if you were going to pay, say, let's go up to these guys, I'm going to pay $36.99, and they go, oh, all right, we'll give it to you for $3,000. Find the equivalent of that in the US, and it's probably $1,000 cheaper. So even with the discount, so that's what I'm getting at. The prices don't seem to add up. I'm calling Fender out. If I've missed something here, then I apologize. But I'm going by what I see and what I know from owning an online store and importing stuff, as well as traveling to the US every 2 or 3 years and bringing something home. I don't bring a guitar home every year, but I bring home, I do bring home stuff. So, yeah, I might not have. Hopefully, the page changed then when I went to the comments. Sorry, guys, if it didn't, I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, $36,990, American Elite. So these aren't the custom shop ones either. These are just the regulars. Where's the standard? Does it have a standard here? I'll go all. It's easier to search this way. So we'll go down to their last page. I'm pretty sure that's where the standards will be. There you go. Mexican Strat, $14.99. Standard Telecaster, $14.99. And these are the suggested retail prices, regular retail price. So you will get a discount, but then, the difference there's still more than, I guess someone has to make money, and that's the way that life goes. But I find the difference between this, and if I bring up, I can't really open my VPN right now, otherwise the stream will crash. But if you're looking at the difference between this and the same guitar in the States, which was, say, $499 or whatever it was, where's that $1,000 coming from? It's not 49% import tax. It's 10% over $1,000 plus $50 import duties. And that's looking at a site that is recommended to look at for importing. So and through experience. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll apologize on a future podcast. But I'm going by what I see and what I know and what I understand of Australia, being in the fact that I've actually imported a lot of stuff. So particular on that site or whatever, let me know and I'll load it up. So I've browsed away from my comments. Let me just head back there right now. I just thought it was worth following up. I didn't want people to think I was misleading them, and I don't do that. I'm not one of those kind of guys. So I reckon there's a few Fender trolls probably, covering up their ass by basically saying, this is why they're so expensive. Look, the Australian government does screw us a lot of the time, but in this particular case, it seems to be a lot worse. So, all right, let me just check the comments. I'm on here now. Okay, hello from Ireland. How are you, Brian? VAT. So import tax on items over $1,000 that aren't luxury items is 10%. That's it. Gung Ho Jihad. Nice name, mate. This guy's the king of trolls. Why don't you stop watching, you dickhead? That's what I would say to you. So go troll somewhere else. You don't affect me, dude. Yeah, he's a troll. Don't worry about him. He can just bitch and moan. All right, I think the prices here in the US are high, and I live near Corona, California. I want to get a new SRV Strat. Guitar Center said it was $12.99 a few years back. Now it's $1,800. Wow, that's crazy. So it has gone up a lot. Why is there tax at all? Well, that's a good question. Australia is supposed to be a trading partner. Yeah, I don't know. So the way it works, this is the way it works. So when you import something over $1,000, it costs you 10% at customs, essentially. And then if your business makes more than $70,000, which I'm sure Fender does, they pay GST, which is 10%, give or take a percent. So there's 20% in there that's that tax bracket. So the way the Australian government works is everybody pays GST on buying and selling things, except for secondhand items, obviously. So when you import stuff and it's over $1,000, the government gets 10%. If these companies are a GST registered business, meaning they earn more than 70,000, they then pay an additional 10% to the government. And it's usually included in the price. So there we go. Always better to buy secondhand. Yeah, man. Mexican standard price is $5.99. So yeah, there you go. So in my comments, I actually posted the particular import number, how much it is, and all that kind of stuff within my comment. So check that out. A huge thanks to Daz for backing me up with all the links too. I appreciate that. So yeah, I just thought I'd share with you basically the facts as I see them and as I can decipher them by looking at not only the prices on the websites, but also understanding the importing. Luxury tax, from what I read, is more geared towards cars over a certain value, not guitars. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Fender actually say, this is why it's like this. I would be, like I said, if I'm wrong, I'll be more than happy to follow it up with a second video or podcast or whatever. But the fact is, from as I see the prices inflate here, I don't totally understand how they can justify the retail price being so high. And I don't care. I'm not going to go out and spend $3,000-$4,000 on a Strat. I'd find that highly unnecessary. But the fact is, yeah, so Quicksilver says flat rate with a question mark. When I import parts and other things to Europe, we pay 21% VAT. Yeah, Europeans get screwed. And that's going to happen here soon, where anything we import from overseas will be GST enabled. So if I spend $10 on a guitar part, I pay an extra $1 to the government. They're going to start doing that soon. So it used to only, and it still is currently only for things over $1,000. So to put it in context, even when I bought my 52 reissue Telecaster from San Francisco, I paid $1,500 US for that. And when I came through customs, I paid like $160 or 170 because the exchange rate was really good when I got it. So I only paid like 10% bringing it back in. That was it. I don't know where people are pulling these 50% out of their ass, but it's not the case. Just out of curiosity, are the Squire products as inflated as the Fender products? They've gone up a lot as well. You know what? I haven't checked their site in forever. I wonder if it takes me to an Australian one. It does. All right, let me share this with you guys. Good point. Let me bring it up. Wrong button. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't go out there looking to mislead anybody with bullshit. I don't do that. That's not what it's about. For me, I call it as it is. So let's go have a look here. Now, when I was in the States, I picked up a Classic Vibe 60s Strat for 300 and, oh no, 50s Tally. Sorry, it was the Tally. I bought the Strat here. So I think I paid $599 for my Strat several years ago now. So Classic Vibe 60s retails at $1,099. Wow. I paid $900 for my Mexican Stratocaster from the list price that was higher. But, you know, like I said, you'd get this probably, you'd hope to get this around $700 if you're lucky. Let's have a look here. I know what we can do. And, you know, not to call out any shops, because I actually like this shop. I'm going to go to a shop that I like. worldofmusic.com.au. And let's type in Classic Vibe. And the way Fender work here too is everybody has give or take the same advertised price. So $799 for a Classic Vibe Lefty. Ooh, okay, so that's not so bad. I'm tipping that's a reduced price from this. Let's go back up to Telecasters. Yeah, I just woke up. That video had 10,000, almost 10,000 views already. I was like, holy crap, I couldn't believe it. So $1,099 is the retail. That must be their sell price, $799. So that's the deal price, give or take. Maybe they'll do an extra few bucks off. But, you know, I compare that to the $350 I spent on mine from Daytona Beach, Florida. And, you know, there's definitely some extra tax in there. I know the shops have to make 10%, all that kind of stuff. So, or they have to pay 10% in not only to recover the 10% they spent on importing the stuff, unless they're going through the distributor, of course, where that's probably included in their wholesale price. But they'll actually owe the government 10% when they sell this, being a GST registered business. So, yeah. And this isn't for me to go, you know what, like I'm fed up with Fender and blah, blah, blah. This was just to be like insightful and interesting to see the difference in prices from, you know, what we pay and what the retail prices are in Australia and other places around the world to what they're worth in the US as well. So that was it. Now, at the top of the video I posted about this, there's a comment that I pinned. Check out the links if you want to have a look for yourself. There's links to all the stuff that I referenced in the video, and it's not just the left-handed guitars. And that would be an assumption that the left-handed guitars are going to be more expensive. So I understand that they used to be. So that's one of those things. So I'm not bashing anybody for anything. It's literally, this is what the suggested prices for these guitars are now and how it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the reason why I buy Japanese guitars now, like, they're awesome. But yeah, I really think, like, if Fender are seriously trying to, or Fender Australia, I should say, are trying to charge or list a Mexican Strat for 1,500 Australian dollars. Really? Come on, that's ridiculous. So yeah. Anyway, all right. I'll have a quick look at some of these comments. I just wanted to jump on for a few minutes and follow this up. So Simon says it's not Fender, but it's the importer. Yeah, but Fender Australia is its own entity. So when I go to fender.com, it brings up fender.com.au. It doesn't take us to, it geo-locks us into our region. So if Fender Australia are the importers, then Fender Australia are to blame. Are Fender Australia related to Fender US? Good question. All right. All I know is that Fender Australia actually look after all the warranties, all of that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, all good, folks. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. And these questions quickly once before I head off. So yeah, it's funny when people troll when you give them facts and they don't bother looking into stuff. They just assume the worst in people. That's the world's screwed, man. It doesn't make sense. G&L guitars super inflated as well. We don't really have a whole lot of G&L dealers here. You can buy a lot of the Indonesian-made guitars from eBay here, but and some secondhand ones. But I'd never seen G&L guitars brand new in any shop in Melbourne. Not to say I've been to all of the shops here because there's a lot of music stores, but yeah, I bought mine from Florida for $800 or something, and when I took it home, I didn't pay any GST because it was under $1,000, which is 10%. If it had been over 1,000, so we paid $80 if GST was enforced for items under $1,000. Yeah, so you can do the research yourself. You can go to any number of websites to find out what the import fees are for guitars for your particular country, wherever you live, and then do the calculation based on exchange rate. So go to xe.com, work out what the exchange rate is in your area, look at the prices in the US, and then work out whether somebody's either making a lot of money or someone's getting shafted. So do the math. And it's not just Fender, it's other guitars as well. But when I got on their website looking for a guitar, and what? How come the Mexican Strats are over 1,000, over $1,500? Doesn't make a lot of sense. This is one of the many reasons why Chibsons exist. Yeah. Yeah. So Ben Entertainment says, I think the swap shop shall be my home for the time being. Mine too. I really love that store. I hadn't been there for so long. So Arselp, how you going, Rick? He says, pretty sure there's no such thing as Fender Australia anymore. The retailer is getting genuinely shafted by Fender USA. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, and this brings it back to my point, which I didn't think Fender Australia existed, but when I went onto the Fender Australia website, or fender.com takes us to there, and then we get the prices or recommended prices from there. So it is Fender. It's got to be. If import tax is only 10% on items over $1,000, and then they pay 10% GST, so there's 20% in there that could be, there's wiggle room. Where's the other 50 to 70% coming from? Some of them are 100% more expensive. So yeah, have a think about that. There's something not right about it. But anyway, folks, I just want to do a quick follow-up video. If you want me to post all the links, what I'm going to do is essentially post. Actually, I pinned the comment already on my last video, so just go there. Just if you want to see the links for yourself and see how much everything's worth, go check that out. I don't dislike Fender guitars. I actually own a few, and I think they're great. I just wouldn't and can't justify what their new retail prices are. I mean, like I said, you get a deal price, but you'd also be shooting yourself in the foot if you didn't do some sort of comparison pricing yourself, especially if the guitar's under $1,000. Look it up online. All right, folks, catch you soon.